towards the sub box, and so you just keep them there.
Yeah, exactly. And if France, oh, lovely right foot step and dive over, lovely opening score. Big right foot whack, gets over the line.
And it is getting darker here already. And you can see the rain on the camera. It's still coming down hard.
Yeah, and the USA just start rolling in defence, so the French can approach unopposed, and then just the pace is too much. The defending middle for the USA just loses her footing, and France open the scoring.
And for you, those of our French viewers and USA, we're not right in the middle of England, and we have got splendid English summer weather. It's coming down. Yes, we are in the middle of our summer.
Yeah.
You realise that, Joe? This is, you know,
Europe's got a heat wave.
Yeah.
We've got rain.
We've got rain. Yeah. And my God, we've got rain. It is coming down. I mean, it's been forecast all day for, you know, anybody who's been watching the cricket. They've been saying all day Saturday's a wipeout, you know, but been reading that there's little breaks in it coming along, so yeah, we'll just hopefully I think they've said about 2 o'clock, I think I heard the producer saying that there's a possibility of it, like, you know, breaking up and coming across, but it is windy, but it's not heavier wind that you think it's going to blow it all off quickly, so fingers crossed. But I'm sure the French and the Americans have played in rain before, so I'm sure they're going to adapt. As I say that, the wind picks up and all the papers start flying around. So I got that wrong.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that the wind's gonna just keep gradually increasing, and that will just negate some of the long ball options that teams will have. USA able to defend the French transition very well in that instance, and now have to roll through their own. But this is something that we saw yesterday, just taking way too many touches in the midfield. This is third touch coming, and they're not near their box yet. Fourth is on the way, not at halfway, so they're going to have to scoop from 50 out. Scooping player comes. There is an overlap on that side. They work the overlap. Touch is made. Turnover.
In France. Come again. I mean, that's a big old squad. So if you keep your 2 wingers in, you got 4 pods there that can just keep popping on and on. Well, you got 3.5 pods.
Yeah,
I
so
should say.
The way it will work, because you can't play each game with 16. So they will have 2 players resting, and they'll have 3 pods and then a replacement for the winger. So 3 wingers in total, just to enable everyone to stay fresh.
So 3 pods of 12 and then 2, so you can have a squad of 15.
Yeah.
So 1 player will be dropping out.
In France at the moment, I mean, they look fresh. They look way fresher. The USA now trying to add some pace, but the dump is a little bit slow, having to take some pace off the roll ball just to secure it. And then now they use their hands to go open.
And we've got the USA subs in front of us, and they are tired looking. They're panting.
Yeah.
You know, they're not getting, they're losing at least 1/3 of the breaks that the French are getting.
Yeah, and you do not realise how beneficial that is until you're in the situation, because look at the momentum from France. Again, just having to slow down the roll ball to secure it. We don't mind it, especially not in this weather. Protect the ball at all costs. Little slip. This is 5th coming. They'll have 1 opportunity. They run the 32 and the ball just goes to ground. Just losing her foot. Losing the balance underfoot and turning the ball over to the US. And although the lack of the personnel for the US is evident and they are looking a little bit leggy, especially when they're trying to transition, they are defending France very well. This is a much better transition, adding loads of pace. So many more yards gained.
That transition was good. We had 3 on, 3 off. Well, we had 3 on, 3 off, 4 on, 1 off, and then we had to wait for that last bit of transition there. And just like, you want those kind of things to go smoother so your numbers are there all the time. And I tell you, the weather is taking effect. As the games have gone on, the drop balls and the hands, the ball slipping through the hands, they're mounting up, and that it's nothing to do with the calibre of the players. It's just the conditions here. It really is. How'd you say? Like a midwinter's day. It's not quite that cold, but the rain is coming down and it is really affecting the play. But the players are adapting brilliantly here at the moment. And I'll tell you something, there's no giving up, is there? There's no they're not taking an inch more than they need to. They're just pushing through. This is the sixth touch now, if I think I can count.
Oh, unlucky. Just goes to ground at the crucial moment. The hole was there. The French player just doesn't recognise it early enough. Doesn't chop the line. Ball goes to ground, and once again the USA see out the French transition. And if the USA, because defending is a lot harder than attacking. So when you're down on personnel and you're trying to find moments to take a breather, you want to be drawing penalties from the opposition, because then you can almost have a little bit of a breather in attack. At the moment, they're not doing enough when they get into the red zone to force those errors to then, have some sustained possession and almost use that as an opportunity to recover slightly.
Yeah. And this is where leadership comes in, and where I talk about that's where talking to the ref and trying to kind of like slow the game down and try and just draw the ref into it a little bit. And maybe you want a little discussion with the ref about something at one point, and just see if you can draw the ref in. And the refs, will turn around and say, "Thank you very much, bye, carry on." But if you can draw them in, just gives you 10, 20 seconds. Maybe you need something explained, and it's you've got to be clever, because you're going to struggle with just those two pods, and then they change again now.
Yeah, my favourite one to just slow the game down is what's the touch count, sir? Sorry, what did you say? What's the touch count? Oh, 4th. Amazing, thank you. Yeah. And you just take those 10 seconds just to relax, and quite often the ref won't hear you first time, so now, you get to say it again.
The call there was 7, right? So that was a case, that transition, players came on, they had 7.
Yeah.
Right, because they hadn't got that other player off.
Yeah.
Right, so we go back to where it was, and that was just like I'm saying. It's kind of like you can't come on till your player comes off.
No.
Right, so you're not allowed to step on the field till they get off, and you've got to get on quickly. And on that case, they were still waiting. I think the other transition was still at half, and they were on. And you've got to get those transitions smooth, because basically you just gave up 40 yards there because you were going forward, and France got free ball.
Yeah, definitely, and what was a quite potent transition from the US just falls apart, and France go down the other end and make them pay with a beautiful dive under the touch.
Yeah.
And, that's what happens when you surrender field position, especially with such a light squad. You need to be able to recover at the right times, and when you're surrendering possession too many times, you then can't recover because you're always in defence, and, this France team are too good not to pick that apart.
And they did double their lead. The only time in the game you can do that, you know that.
Oh, that's much better from the US. Just can't quite get the ball down, but the hands are so good, especially in the wet weather. Kaya Little, she's the person who looks to make things happen. Very explosive on the ball. Good pick up.
You mentioned, Kai, that they're one player, 2 players short of being the keeper on the pitch for longer and be that playmaker. You mentioned yesterday she was the one causing all the damage.
Yeah.
But basically all France have got to do is just keep the ball and get 2 sets of 6 by creating something, and she's off the pitch.
Yeah, exactly that. And France are doing a really good job at just protecting the ball and keeping possession. And at the moment, the US just can't quite deal with it, and also just can't keep that possession for much longer than a set. They're not really drawing many penalties. Maybe could exaggerate some of the dropping early on the line from France, just recognising that some of the French links are dropping a little bit early. And if you were to then pull out of the touch as the attacking player and going, by the way, ref, he's dropping early, just letting you know, and then the refs are aware of it and begin to look, and then you begin to set a foundation to create some sustained pressure.
Yeah.
They're lucky to get away with Yep, and they do it properly this time. She went to go, didn't.
Stopped, yeah. You can make sure that, your player's off. I mean, I don't think they're too worried about just the little step over at the edge there, but the one before was blatant. They had their players on there. But I think this is where France has got to be clever. They've got to say, right, 6, we want to finish on that far left-hand side, because if we can stop the USA getting across to their sub-box, those players have to stay on, and then if they get a turnover, they're keeping them on for longer. So, France have got to say, right, we're attacking down the left-hand side, and let's keep it out of the, keep the USA away from their subs.
Yeah, for sure. And for the first time in the game now, 14 minutes in, US get a penalty, so they get the repeat set of 6. So they're able to just take a moment, take a little breather, and then work through their attacking structure. Looking for the quickie. They find it. Step back, go the other way. Overlap, but she holds onto the ball, just protecting it. Recognizing that the pass wasn't on. Doesn't need to throw anything too risky. Takes the ball down. And they look for the link. They find it, but it's a brilliant shot from the French winger. Maybe should have picked the eyes up and had a look to the USA wing.
Yeah, I think they had an overlap there as well, but try to go under the touch. Now, this is their 3rd set. And so, at the same time, that's Now, if the French can keep this left, they've kept that pod on there for a good 2 minutes of non-stop, and that's really going to get to them.
Yeah.
France have got to go left, and they do. Keep them away, and that's what they've got to do. Keep them away from the sub-bench. There's going to be some very tired USA legs out there at the moment. Yeah, and they're keeping it narrow down that side. The USA subs are trying to literally get on here at the moment. They're kind of like looking for that opportunity, but it's not coming their way. And that's it. Right now, the USA get a chance to switch. They're going to get across for the transition. There's one off. 2, 3, 4, and they got their full transition, and they're still ploughing through the halfway line. That's good play by the US.
Yeah, much better. And they get in behind. Now Kaya can scoop, and this is where she's dangerous against a retreating defence. They feed the ball. Doesn't quite go. It's going to be given a touch and pass. I wonder if Kaya Little could have just gone through the gap there rather than giving the pass.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and doesn't she bring pace onto the ball? Wow. So here's one thing for you, right? You got a pod, you got a little injury there to one person. That person has to go off. Do you bring somebody from the other pod, or is that when you bring that spare on?
No, you put someone from the next pod, and then they've got to work extra hard and double set.
Right.
And then in that way you reset the pods. You don't confuse things too much, and it's just on that one individual who quite often will go, "Yep, I can double set. I'm fit enough," and then you're back into your clean rotation. Big shove.
Right, now there's a good opportunity there to change over the with the transition, but then they give it away again.
Yeah, that's a really unforced error. No real pressure there from the French, just losing concentration at the base of the roll ball. France now rolling into their strike. One touch, referee down. Ruins his nice white top. Wouldn't want to do that dry cleaning. 32 short for the France. Oh, and it's good pace and direction. Just puts the right foot step on, goes round the retreating USA defender, and she doubles up and extends France's lead back out to 3. Yeah, look, she's on the ball there. She knows what she wants. Calling the 32 short. It's worked once. It's going to work again. Yeah. Receives the ball. Lovely step and pace to go round the covering defender, and good ground.
Ground in, you were going to say?
Ground
made, but the ground in, I'd be questioning.
Yeah, so we say ground and it covers all bases.
Yeah, it does, yeah. Well, even the little bounce there, I'm sure there was downward pressure.
Yeah, I was saying to Angus, it reminds me of the touch does remind me of that Louis Rees-Zammit try where what was it? It was like the little finger had the downward pressure in the Six Nations, and it's like, well, is it not? Well, downward pressure is downward pressure.
Yeah, well, the Welsh always get the rub of the green, don't they? So if they're changing it to Kim Rude, I wonder what Welsh would be. We will ask that question. And I know I'm pronouncing it wrong anyway. So.
Yeah, people are probably at home screaming the proper pronunciation.
My Welsh great-grandparents will be falling over themselves. or actually grandparents, I should say so. That's good possession kept there by France. That was, to me, that was a hopeful, hopefully somebody's going to be running onto it, but they were. And then they just turn it over as we get into the last minute, and the USA will be taking full use of this half-time.
Yeah, USA just soaking it up now. Probably hoping just to wind the clock down. I mean, 3 tries down, it's not a bad position to be in. You just not really look like you're able to get your attack motor in at the moment. That should be the main focus for the US, is just to motor. And unfortunately, the pod with Kyle Little, the danger pod that looks like it's going to create opportunities from nothing, always seems to be getting stuck in defence and then having to sub off and transition. So maybe they can rearrange that. As the ball just goes to the ground with a few seconds remaining, France will get one opportunity to go coast to coast, but it's an incorrect roll ball and the USA will have one to play with. No, referee decides, it's half-time, mate.
That's right. So, right, we're going to use this occasion to have ourselves a nice little quick break as well. So, back to you in a few minutes, because I'm going to try and get hold of one of those American coaches to make sure they join us straight at the end of the game. So as the rain continues to fall down on us here, I mean, we are under a gazebo, but I'm just trying to make you feel like everybody else is here. We are getting ready for USA France in the women's under 20s, and we've got a USA ready, and we've seen them missing some French players. I don't think that would bother the USA if the hooter goes. So they're 3-0 down, but we've been talking about it the whole time. They've got a smaller squad. They've only got the 10 players, 2 pods, 2 wingers, and that does make it that much harder. Oh, 1 minute to go. Why are they getting out there with 1 minute to go? Joe, what's that all about?
Yeah, it wouldn't be me in this weather. I'd be out there with 10 seconds to go, just getting ready to go.
I'd be running a J straight from the edge right round onto the kickoff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, under that gazebo. Now, USA starting with a stronger pod. Do you think that's a kind of like the reasoning behind that, or would you hold your stronger pod just to get that a little bit more rest?
No, what I would do is I would back my strong pod to go down on the tap off and get a score early doors. You then send the other pod on to see it out defensively, and then your strong pod with Kyle Little in can just rotate and attack consistently, always sort of have the ball in hand. You don't really want to get your dangerous players stuck in defence because they're not maybe utilising their skill set as much as they could be. So Kaya will have the idea of going down that end with 2 or 3 touches spare and then being able to strike. They buddy up the middle.
It's 2 touches. Just lost it there. Now they are in defence. Yeah. So everything that we had worked out there and was hoping that they would be doing has just backfired.
Yeah, it's a shame as well because it's just a skill error in terms of the hands from the link, and they'd worked the space really well. Looked like they were going to try and get a link punish in. That is just loss of control though, and for all their good work, they have forced a turnover.
Now, I thought the rain had stopped for a little bit. Now it was just windy. Nope, it's very thin, but it's getting a bit lighter over towards there where it's coming from. So hopefully, by the end of the day, we'll be in our buggy smugglers, speedos, and tops will be off, catching the tan.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Or maybe not.
Just a little bit stop-start in the beginning of the second half. Now France are moving towards their sub-box to get fresh legs on.
And they do that, and they come round. So transition, bring your subs on, and you're defending.
Yeah, and you know what, for the US, that's a really good result because now the US are able to get across to their sub-box and work hard for their transition and get the danger pod on that looks like they're going to create opportunities for this US side, and it's pretty good.
Two touches, turnover, and your danger pod, instead of attacking down in that attacking third, are now defending.
Yeah, and just too many skill errors creeping in at the moment. No team really able to sustain any pressure. And yes, the conditions are a problem. Yes, they are a mitigating factor, but a skill error is a skill error, and you need to cut them out if you want to make a team like France pay.
Absolutely. It's frustrating. It's kind of like both teams are doing it all the time. We were saying earlier about basics, right? Now, I only have one basic, right? Catch it, right? You get a bad pass. If you're good at catching, you catch it. Everything about it is just catch the ball. Doesn't matter what sport you're in, right? And that's where the problem is. You can blame the pass, but if you catch it, it doesn't matter. And that's the first basic I think you always deal with. And now, this is the first time they've got past 3 touches with a pod change. And here we go. It's good. And dividends already. And like you say, the danger player is off. Now they've got to create something. 2 touches to go.
Yeah, I think it's try not to get too frustrated as we just watch this attack Final touch, they look to play expansive. There's a 2-on-1 on the wing.
So wide there was the option.
Doesn't see it, and the ball gets killed. And it's slightly frustrating because some of the roll balls, yes, aren't as clean as they could or should be. The ball is rolling, but then the US players are stood watching the ball and then look at the ref, and it's all very stop and start, and you're making the decision for the ref because you yourself do not look happy.
Yep.
Whereas if you're just picking the ball up and going, you then don't give the referee an opportunity to, you know, think about what they've just seen and second guess themselves. So US maybe just need to play to the whistle a bit more and run as hard as you can until that whistle goes, because they're just giving these decisions to the referees to make.
Very much, completely agree. Although I do always add at all times. It's easy from up here, isn't it?
Yeah, very easy.
It's really easy. I'd be really good at this game from up here. But the girls are doing a cracking job at the moment. I mean, like France, unfortunately, at the moment the advantage is purely in the numbers. Because on the pitch the play is even, but you can just see that they've got that freshness continually switching around in their pods.
Yeah, and they draw a penalty from the US, so this pod is going to have another set of 6 to defend. Referee on that short side making sure that everyone's advancing forward, but they are talking still. And USA advancing forward. That's good pace, as long as they keep going.
And they do. They've got there, and again, I mean, the thing is, it's not just the wet weather. The fingers are incredibly freezing.
Yeah.
You know.
And if you think this pod attacked, defended, and then gave away a penalty and defended another set of 6, so really tired legs.
Yeah.
But they do complete their transition, and they're able to give Kaya Little a good platform to scoop, and she passes. Can the hands go? It just can't quite. And it's turnover ball, but USA starting to grow into this game.
I didn't quite see what that turnover was for, if I'm honest.
6-touch turnover.
Ah, because they through the transition.
Yeah.
So I was counting from the transition.
That's a good dump, good scoop.
Wouldn't it be good if there was a touch counter on the sideline? You know, so just so that the audience knew what was going on as well.
Yeah, or
I'm not talking about the stream.
Little graphic.
Yeah. I'm sure we could knock up a graphic. It's very difficult knowing when the touches are from our end all the time, though. You know. Well, it's not, and it is.
Yeah, sat here with one of those clickers, clicking over. Touch 1, touch 2.
Yeah. I'm sure the refs could do that for us. Right. It's definitely getting lighter. The rain has now just stopped. Right, the rain has stopped. It's getting lighter. This is where we're going to start seeing some more jouet coming through on the French. And there's a slide in under the touch, was it? No. How many sports do you see? Sports that you play on a pitch like this, like, you know, at pace, touch, everything else, and you can get to wear a hat.
Yeah, I know, I love it.
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. Angus isn't a fan of the hats, but he's not here today.
I know. It's just kind of like, I understand why, right, you know, but I just love to see that kind of like, you know, that individuality you can bring to it, your own like character thing. So, right, I'm going to wear a hat. What, and play serious sport? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
And you get all sorts. You got the bucket hats, you get the caps, the snapbacks, the visor.
Yeah.
The big Aussie hats.
Looking forward to seeing them. I tell you, the guy that runs out in the top hat, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
And keeps it on as he's running.
Running out with a fedora. That'd be a big
there
one.
we go. That's the call to all teams watching on. You're going to be on pitch 1 today, which is now on pitch 2. But anyway, yeah, we want to hear that from you. We want to see that.
I did suggest to Angus, I was like, we should have a hat at the weekend.
Yeah.
Just get people down.
Absolutely. Well, at breakfast this morning, there was a big Irish hat, whatever they're called. It's like a top hat but extended, but it's got another name. Something like, what was it? is it Guns N' Roses would wear, like what's his name?
Ooh, intercept.
Oh, and they're going to go all the way to the house. No.
Brilliant defensive pressure to force the intercept. It might get pulled back. Ref's not happy, unsure as to what. Call hasn't been made. Might be now. Oh, offside. Just explaining to the French player there that she hadn't hit the line before she got up to make the interception, and that's harsh because she did so well to get up in the passing lanes and intercept the ball, but offside initially.
Yeah. We go again. And there was me trying to remember what the Guns N' Roses guitarist was called. And it's completely slipped my mind. But anyway, a hat like that, that's what he had. Maybe he's going to come out and play in that.
Yeah, you've got me racking my brain now.
I'm going to say Slash, but it's not Slash. Right. But it's something in that field, but my mind's gone a bit of a blank.
Yeah, I'm going in my office. I'll find out.
You're gonna Google. Right, up they come, the French. I tell you, they're just really playing the clock really well. They're just taking their time on stuff now, taking the touches, and then just injecting the pace at the end, making sure USA defend all the way. And they are. That's the 5th last touch.
Yeah, Saul Hudson, Slash.
Slash, it
Big
is Slash.
top pat.
Yeah, there we go. Right, that was at breakfast this morning.
Superb.
So hopefully if he plays in that, that should be good.
I don't think that would stay on in a game of touch.
No, you'd like to think
but
not.
Even for one touch, get it on.
Yeah.
USA just slowing down ever so slightly. And now there's the pace.
Oh, nice. Brilliant play by Kia Little there. What a difference maker.
Yeah, and that's just the difference that pace makes. Looking really, really tough getting off the field, but as soon as the danger players are on, left foot step, and then there's just shows the dummy, so the winger has to commit, goes all the way through, puts the ball down, and a little dive in the corner. Superb finish.
All we needed then was a turn of the camera and give us a little wave. And, I'd have been in my element. That's what it's all about. You've got to, when you play the game, you've got to know where the camera is. But really good play. They're off, and they've reduced the lead by a third. Now 3-1 to the French, and suddenly, with 9 minutes to go, it's still all there.
Yeah, this is what USA did yesterday in their game against South Africa. South Africa had loads of joy for the first 3 quarters. And then the last 10 minutes, USA started to put things together and started to run really hard, and they got, three, potentially 4 scores in very quick succession. And if they can do the same here, then the try difference is definitely less than what they had to deal with yesterday against South Africa. So a couple scores. And USA could take this right out from under France's nose.
I think this is the 5th touch as well now. No. And that's a drop. Yeah. So USA are going to be attacking. They're going to be in transition as well. And just one score is going to make it very tasty now.
Yeah, definitely. USA now just need to inject some pace, having to take the ball back. Just stops the progression up the pitch, and now they've got to go forward. 5th coming.
That is the 5th. So they've got to magic something now. Defending from the halfway line. So explain as well, if you're watching on air, and we all know about refs, you have 2 sideline refs, you have 1 in the middle. Explain why they keep switching in and out.
Because they're tired.
Right.
Is the basic explanation. There's no, logistical reason. There's no nuances to how refs ref the game. It's just like you've been on for a few sets, you need a breather. No worries, I'll swap out with you, and you can come hop on the sideline.
So it's just completely interchanging all the time, because I think it's the first game I've seen them do that.
Yeah.
And they just like, we'll switch around and, everybody's refereeing. And I tell you something, I like that. Because you don't have a assistant referee, you have 3 referees.
Yeah, exactly that. And the sidelines will always be feeding information into the on-field ref, but the on-field ref can overrule the sidelines. So the on-field ref, when whoever's on the pitch at any given time, is the main referee, and they will use their sidelines just for extra information as and when it's needed.
Yeah. Right, France again. I mean, every score is important, but if they go out 4-1 again, that 3-try lead.
Yeah,
right, there's the turnover.
6-touch and turnover, and USA will be able to launch.
There's a bit of warmth coming through.
Oh, we love that. Now, if USA are able to get off the pitch nice and clean, then they'll give that dangerous player in Kaya Little a good platform to strike from. It is getting there. Up to halfway, 3rd touch. This is forthcoming. 2 to make some ground.
And Kia's on, and there's the pace. She's tight in there.
Checks it off, gets the ball down. Little bit stunted. So she'll have a set defence to run at, but that does not matter. She is half. She needs to find a player, and she'll run around and find the pass and give it.
Or was that a touch?
Oh, French player saying that she made the touch. If that's the case, then it'll be half court. I wonder if Kaya could have looked towards the right to the winger.
I didn't think she was the half.
Yeah, scooped to the base of the ruck.
I didn't know. I thought she was the second pass, wasn't she? Right, listen. What do I know? We're just going to see it. I'm going to be told.
Ooh, referee's overall. Score is given.
3-2. Well, let's have a look here. So.
Yeah, so she checks the, goes straight through. She is half in that instance because she's done.
And I'll tell you something else, she knows it because that's why she's looking to pass.
Yeah. And the touch. Oh, it's fractional. It depends if that touch gets made. Referees are happy that the pass was given.
So it was one of these, like you say, it was in the process of passing.
Yeah, it's those little grey areas, but I think France have gone right back down the other end and scored.
Or not?
Nope, offside the call, so France will have to go over a second time.
So I know you didn't think that was a try because you can sell anything to me, right? And you didn't sell that to me.
No, it looked like the player had got back. It's only because France are dumping beyond the 7. So if you're dumping a metre beyond the 7, then it means that the defending team only has to get a metre off the 7. But they're moving the US so successfully, and the feet just failing under Kaya Little. And that's what happens when you're able to whip the ball from one side to the other at pace with purpose, and they get their reward.
Just see this here. Kyle comes out. Let you say, there's the touch. Come back. She slips, and they're in.
Too good. And for all the effort made by the US, just their footing fails them. And France extend the lead back out to 2. 3 minutes remain. It's going to take something special.
Yeah, but they got it. They got that ability, and here they come again.
Oh, she's through. She found the pass.
She's the half. Oh, just didn't go to hands.
Yeah, touch has been made, but the referee looks like they're having a look. I think they're going to say take the touch, so they'll get another one to play with. Potentially touch was made before she had the ball in hand, but we won't talk about that.
No, because that's our opinion. We're entitled to our opinion, but that's not the same as the rest. It doesn't matter. And here's the opportunity. There it is.
Lovely.
There's the hole.
Lovely.
And it's there. No, he's called touch. Has he?
Yeah, it's touch and pass. The ref deemed that the touch had been made before the ball was released. And that's a tough break because they worked so hard to create the space. They'd found it. They executed it well. Just not well enough.
Just need a little turnover now. Otherwise, France is going to take this down. Keep it to the right. No transition from the Americans. And here's their transition.
Oh, good feet. Great feet. Good covering touch.
There's a lot to be said that the transition players coming on there kind of like confused the American defence. And that was a hard touch.
Yeah.
And high as well. And that should, with 90 seconds to go, just see France over the line.
Yeah, and US falling victim to, pretty much the same thing that we saw yesterday, which is just, actually, the longer the game goes on, they end up growing into it and getting scores deep into the second half, but just can't be that connected unit in the first half to execute any potential space, and then they give themselves a mountain to climb. And you might have some spectacular individual players, but if they're always 4 tries down, then you might be able to get 1 or 2, but 4 without reply, that's a hard task.
Yeah. Very into the last minute. France keeping the ball right, so one last transition from the Americans now as they bring the ball up. They've got to bring up more pace because they're already 3 touches in. Now, Kia, she fancies this. She's looking for options, but she just takes it straight up.
Lovely check off. They make so much ground, and that should be offside penalty, and it is. 20 seconds to go. They'll get 1 opportunity to finish on a high.
There they go. Kia at the half, looking to make things happen. She's going to come around on the loop.
Yep, they're able to play it. Oh, the USA stop. And they'll say loss of control, and that's game. What good performance from France, just too clinical in the end, and the US just failing to make their pressure at the end of the game pay. And the efforts of Kaya Little just go in vain. France can be happy with their work. 4-2. The conditions not helping. But France come away with the victory. And I believe we're just waiting for someone to come over to have a little chat on the camera about the game. Someone from the US. Just going through and shaking hands. We'll be popping over in a moment. But a really good showing at what can be achieved in women's touch. Some expert hands at times. The weather conditions may be just failing in some moments as the player tries to get through the tunnel towards us. She's getting here. And we will be back in just a moment.
Right, well, I'm pleased to say that we're joined in the little comms box here by Anae, the USA captain. So, okay, the result didn't go your way, but you've got a much smaller squad. You must be pleased with how that all went.
Yeah, well, sorry, repeat what you said, the last part?
You're pleased with you pleased how it went, considering the small squad you've got, and, it must have been tiring.
It is. We've been